Colin Neil-Bibby to be followed by Bruce Crawford. Up to 6 minutes, please.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Stimulating economic growth and creating jobs for people should be at the top of our agenda. Of course, on this side of the chamber, we welcome the rise in employment, but the reality is that unemployment is also up by 10,000, and as has been reported over the last quarter, we've seen a 13,000 increase in female unemployment and 32,000 more 16 to 24-year-olds out of work. It's clear the job market remains extremely tough for my constituents, and the people in my own area in the west of Scotland who are looking for a job want action to support them. Earlier this year, like other members, I organised a jobs and skills fair in Paisley, and while it was helpful to many, I'm sure the huge turnout was a stark reminder of the sheer scale of the challenge we face to promote jobs for people. It's also, for me, completely blew apart the myth put forward by some that people, particularly young people, don't want to work. I can tell the Chamber categorically the appetite is absolutely there. The reality is many of the constituents I speak to don't care who it is that takes action. They just want to see job creation, and they want to see it now. Because in terms of Scotland's economic needs, both the UK and Scottish governments are failing to stimulate sufficient jobs and secure sustained economic growth. We need a change in approach and a change in emphasis from both governments, and we need it now, not next year or the year after that. The problem is not that the people of Scotland need independence before things can change for the better. It's that the people of Scotland have a government so obsessed with the independence and the referendum that everything else is pushed to the side. The Cabinet Secretary described his budget last week as a budget for independence. What we should have and we need is a budget for jobs and a budget for growth, not one that keeps Scotland on standstill for the next 12 months. It's becoming increasingly evident that it's not what powers you have, it's what you do with the powers that count. The truth is that despite the SNP members insisting this afternoon that only independence would give them the powers they need to act, the Scottish Government already has key powers to take action now. Powers over employment, over skills, power over colleges, over housing and over childcare. For example, as Margaret McDougall said, not just now, as Margaret McDougall said, you could use powers of procurement to limit zero-hour contracts and extend the living wage to put money in the pocket of the lowest paid workers. You could begin to reverse your college cuts, which are having a devastating impact on students and staff. 120,000 fewer part-time students, 1,200 jobs gone. It makes sense that if people can't get a job, then at least we should be providing them with the opportunity to train or retrain. Last year, the NUS, EIS and Unison said college cuts would harm economic recovery, and they are right. And according to Spice, you are continuing your real terms cuts to colleges in 2014-15 and 2015-16, when you should be repairing the damage you have already done. But by 2015-16, you will have cut the college budgets by over £100 million in real terms since 2007. More also needs to be done, as mentioned, to support families with childcare, which is crucial in supporting people, particularly women, back into work. Of course, we welcome the increase to 600 hours for 3- and 4-year-olds in the Children and Young People Bill, just as my colleagues welcomed it when it was first promised back in 2007. By now, we should be looking at what can be done next: provision for 2-year-olds and wraparound care for primary school-aged children. Just a couple of months ago, we proposed a childcare commission to work with all parties to look at the childcare challenges we face and discuss the best way to tackle them. It is regrettable that the SNP chose not to work with us on that. Of course, SNP members will argue, as they have this afternoon, for full economic powers. They've been arguing that for many years. It's the same old argument. The only difference seems to be these days they actually want to keep the British pound. So maybe they don't want full economic powers after all. That's one of the major problems I have with the Yes campaign. They cannot even agree on something as fundamental and as basic as currency. And as Ian Gray has said, by promising to cut corporation tax at a time when families are struggling to pay the bills, they've shown that they wouldn't use the powers they demand wisely. Planning to slash corporation tax for big business is just plain wrong. £300 million to be cut from public services, cuts from schools and hospitals. There is no way I could support that, and I believe the vast majority of my constituents would think the same. I believe it is in Scotland's interest to remain a strong and integral part of the UK economy, the 6th biggest economy in the world. I believe it is in Scotland's interest to continue to use the British pound. I also believe Scotland should help elect the UK Government and Chancellor who appoint members of the Bank of England and set its targets. I don't believe it's in Scotland's interest to leave the 6th biggest economy in the world, to have no monetary control or power, and to set up an artificial border with our biggest partner. I don't believe it is in our interest to leave a union where we get higher public spending per head than the rest of the UK.
Members in his last minute.
I care about Scotland and our people as much as anyone else here. My fear is that the SNP want independence so badly they want it at any cost, whether we are richer or poorer. Well, Presiding Officer, it is in our economic interest to remain part of the UK, and I will campaign and vote with other Scots in Scotland's interest, and I support the Labour amendment.
Many thanks.